making headlines this hour, President Yamin sends a message of condolence to the President of UAE following the demise of his beloved mother. Foreign Minister attends the opening ceremony of the 30th Summit of the African Union held in Addis Ababa. And Indonesian President visits a Rohingya refugee camp in southern Bangladesh's Cox's Bazar region.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Nasma Abdul Mohsin and this is PSM News. President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Qayyum sends a message of condolence to the President of UAE, Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan, following the demise of his beloved mother, the late Sheikh Hissa bint Muhammad bin Khalifa Al Nahyan. President Yamin expressed that he was deeply saddened to hear the news of the passing away of the beloved mother of the Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan. In his message, the President extended sincere condolences to the President of UAE, his family and the brotherly people of UAE on behalf of the government and people of Maldives in this time of grief. Minister of Foreign Affairs Dr. Muhammad Asim attends the opening ceremony of the 30th Summit of the African Union held in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The theme of this year's summit is Winning the Fight Against Corruption, a Sustainable Path to Africa's Transformation. The summit will deliberate on institutional reforms of the African Union, the state of peace and security on the continent, continental free trade and open airspace. On the sidelines of the summit, Minister Asim met his counterparts from Malawi, Libya and Tunisia and discussed issues of mutual interest and collaboration in various sectors. Education Malaysia Global Service awards 500 scholarships for Maldivians. The scholarships were handed over at a ceremony held at the Ministry of Education.
Providing and promoting high-quality education for all Maldivian children to foster economically productive and actively engaged citizens is an electoral pledge of President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Qayyum. The 500 scholarships opportunities open for the Maldivian students by Education Malaysia Global Service is one major step of the government to fulfill the pledge. In a ceremony held at the Ministry of Education, the documents of scholarship were handed over by the Chief Operating Officer of Education Malaysia Global Service, Novi Tajuddin, and received by the Minister of Education, Dr. Aishut Shiham. Addressing the ceremony, Education Minister Dr. Aishut Shiham stated that the diplomatic relations between Maldives and Malaysia has reached newer heights over the past 4 years, and the scholarship opportunities awarded is a testimony of the strong bond between the two countries. The Education Minister revealed that the 500 scholarships include 100 postgraduate scholarships and 400 undergraduate scholarships. Briefing the media on the payment scheme for the 500 scholarship opportunities, the Maldivian Education Minister stated that 50% of the course fee is covered by the Malaysian government and the rest is covered by the education loan scheme provided by the Maldivian government. Addressing the ceremony, Chief Operating Officer of Education Malaysia Global Service said Malaysia is amongst the favorite destination for Maldivian students to attain higher education. Novi Tajuddin noted the close and friendly bond between Maldives and Malaysia boosts the educational opportunities provided by Malaysian government to the Maldivians.
On behalf of the Malaysian government, Education Malaysia Global Services, we are very happy to be here to actually looking into the collaboration between government to government, between the Malaysian government and the Maldives government. The number of scholarship that will be given through the Ministry of Higher Education of Maldives. With this initiative, we can have the exhibition. We hope that more Maldivians will come and grab these opportunities to further their studies in Malaysia.
Tajuddin further said that the Malaysia Education Expo received a rave response from the public as over 700 visitors registered on the first day of the expo. Malaysia has one of the most important development partners for Maldives, especially in the education sector.
Education Malaysia Expo commences with the aim to provide Maldivians with the knowledge on educational opportunities available in Malaysia. The expo held in Darbarge Convention Centre was inaugurated by the Minister of State for Education, Abdullah Nazir. Addressing the opening ceremony, State Minister Abdullah Nazir described the expo as a good opportunity for Maldivians seeking higher education in Malaysia. The State Minister highlighted that Malaysia is one of the countries which is popular among Maldivians travelling abroad for higher studies. The two-day expo is held by Malaysia Global Services of Ministry of Higher Education of Malaysia and Department of Higher Education of Maldives. Maldives and Malaysia signed 4 agreements during the recent trip of Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak to Maldives, including an agreement on cooperation in the field of higher education. State Trading Organization STO celebrates the maiden voyage of its new oil tanker, MT Alimas. The oil tanker purchased from Germany has a capacity of 25,000 metric tons and cost the company $14.7 million. Previously, STO operated a 7,000-ton oil tanker. Speaking at the ceremony held to celebrate its maiden voyage, Minister of Economic Development Mohammed Saeed stated, "The main priority of the government is to make Maldives an economically stable country." Noting the importance of STO having full rights of oil imports to Maldives, Economic Minister Saeed said that one main pledge of the government is to set affordable oil rates. The minister cited that MT Alimas will pave way to reduce oil prices in Maldives. During the ceremony, Managing Director of STO Ahmad Shahir expressed that the new oil tanker will ensure the oil security of the country. The oil tanker purchased by STO is also the largest oil tanker in operation in the South Asia region. Maldives Airports Company Limited MACL announces plans of commencing the work of tarring the new runway next month. According to MACL, the work of the new runway is progressing at a fast pace, with lights and fuel hydrants being installed on the runway.
The development of Velana International Airport VIA is the largest infrastructure project conducted by the administration of President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Qayyum. The $1 billion mega developmental project is developed into 2 phases. The first phase of the project, which would cost $400 million, would see the development of a 3,400-meter long, 65-meter wide runway. The first phase of the project, which is contracted to China-based Beijing Urban Construction Group, has now completed the work of leveling and reclaiming a land area of 77 hectares for the new runway. The company started applying the sub-base of the new runway in 2016. The sub-base is often the main load-bearing layer of a runway, and such layers are currently used in construction of various highways and runways worldwide. According to Maldives Airports Company Limited MACL, 3 layers of sub-base would be laid in the newly developed runway. Managing Director of MACL Adil Musa told PSM News that the work of the new runway is progressing at a fast pace as per the given timeline, with lights and fuel hydrants being installed on the runway. MACL revealed that with the completion of the new runway, it would solve issues faced due to overcrowding, as the project would see the development of a cargo complex with storage capacity of 120,000 tons and a fuel farm with a storage capacity of 45 million litres.
MSN Reality Maldives Private Limited commences the project to develop a tourist resort in Ruttibirang Island of Taitul. The new resort is scheduled to be developed with a variety of new and unique concepts to the Maldivian tourism industry and is slated to be inaugurated by the end of 2019.
Tourism is the largest economic industry in the Maldives, as it plays an important role in earning foreign exchange revenues and generating employment in the tertiary sector of the country. The archipelago of Maldives is the main source of attraction to many tourists visiting the country worldwide. Under the efforts of the current administration to expand and enhance the tourism sector, various resorts have been developed within the past 4 years, which has brought revolutionary concepts to the Maldivian tourism industry. The development of Ruttibirang Island in Tha Atoll as a 5-star resort is one such developmental project which has a high scope towards bringing such revolutionary changes to the industry. The island, which is to be renamed as the Islands Maldives Resorts and Spa, is the second resort developed under the Integrated Islands concept. In an exclusive interview with PSM News, Board Director of MS and Reality Maldives Private Limited, Faisal Ibrahim, said that the island will be developed as a 170-room 5-star resort and is slated to be launched by the end of 2019. According to the developer, the resort is developed in a unique concept which utilizes a satellite harbor system in Maldives for the first time. In addition, the resort also adapts to a green concept which minimizes the amount of pollution produced by the resort.
In this resort, it is designed to be at 5-star level, and we have a unique concept by having a satellite harbor to the island. In the normal concept is the harbor is on the island, and the back of house facilities are also on the island. But in this island, we opt for a green concept by having the back of house facilities away from the main island. So all the desalination plant, powerhouse, sewage treatment plant, waste management, everything is off the island.
MS and Reality revealed that the resort has additional isolated 3 islands, which is expected to be developed as private islands for the upper-class tourists arriving to Maldives.
If you look down on the map, you see 3 separate islands. These are a unique concept to the Maldives, which hasn't been done before. Each of these small islets will have a mansion on it, and there's 3 different designs will be there for the 3 islands, with multiple room mansion for upper class guests. And then we have included there's a natural outgrowth on the western side. We are reclaiming that and making a picnic island.
Island Aviation Services IAS awarded the project to develop a tourist resort in Ruttibirang in 2016 to the Singapore-based firm. Under the agreement with IAS, MS and Reality has to complete the project within 2 years. IAS also signed a sublease agreement with the company to lease Ruttibirang for 49 years.
Indonesian President Joko Widodo visits a Rohingya refugee camp in southern Bangladesh's Cox's Bazar region.
Indonesian President Joko Widodo's visit comes as Bangladesh is struggling to cope with an influx of around 688,000 Rohingya refugees who have fled an army crackdown in Myanmar's Rakhine state since last August. During his visit to the Kutupalong refugee camp, Widodo said his government will provide more amenities such as health and education centers.
Working closely with the communities and the humanitarian NGOs, the government will also soon provide health facilities, namely with hospital, additional shelter, education center, and trauma healing. 3 ambulance for mobile medical service, solar panel, and water purifier.
A joint statement released after Widodo's visit said Bangladesh's Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina appreciated Indonesia's supportive role, including the humanitarian assistance for the displaced persons from Rakhine state sheltered in Bangladesh. Witnesses have reported killings, looting and rape after the Myanmar army cracked down on Rohingya Muslims in Rakhine state. Many in Buddhist majority Myanmar regard the Rohingya community as illegal immigrants from Bangladesh. The United Nations has described the crackdown as ethnic cleansing.
4 militants attack an army outpost near one of Afghanistan's main military academies, with at least one soldier dead and 3 wounded.
Ministry of Defense officials said the militants attacked the outpost near the well-defended Marshal Fahim Military Academy just before dawn. Ministry spokesman Daulat Waziri said 2 of the attackers have been neutralized. The attack in the western outskirts of the capital Kabul came 2 days after an ambulance bomb in the center of the city killed 103 people and wounded 235, and just over a week after another attack on the Hotel Intercontinental killed more than 20. Both of those attacks were claimed by the Taliban militant group. According to the Afghan Defense Ministry, there are currently more than 20 active insurgent organizations inside the country. In response to the threat, the Afghan military has launched a 3-month counter-terrorism operation since the beginning of winter. Acting Defense Minister Tariq Shah Bahrami told a press conference security forces had carried out 373 cleanse missions, 443 assaults and 389 airstrikes over the past 38 days.
The United States delivers the final shipment of Black Hawk helicopters to Jordan to help its regional ally defend itself against the threat of IS militants.
In a handover ceremony at King Abdullah II Air Base in Zarqa Governorate, 35 kilometers east of Amman, U.S. Chargé d'Affaires in Jordan Henry Wooster said Washington remained committed to supporting Jordanian armed forces in protecting the country's borders.
The United States remains committed to supporting the JAF's efforts to protect Jordan's borders, deter aggression, counter acts of terrorism, assist in civil defense, and contribute to defeat ISIS coalition operations.
The final shipment of Black Hawk helicopters raised the total number of received helicopters to 12 aircrafts over the past 9 months. Jordan is among a few Arab states that have taken part in a US-led air campaign against the hardline militant group.
U.S.-Jordanian military cooperation is very strong and a key component in our joint efforts to defeat Daesh. Receiving these helicopters is evidence of our strong relationship led by our Commander-in-Chief, His Majesty King Abdullah II.
Since the start of the Syrian conflict in 2011, Washington has spent millions of dollars to help Amman set up an elaborate surveillance system known as the Border Security Program to stem infiltration by militants from Syria and Iraq.
Analysts say the imminent Russian-backed Syrian talks in Sochi may offer an opportunity to start political dialogues among the warring parties for solutions to end Syria's long-standing conflict.
Russia has for some time been preparing for the Syrian talks in Sochi, slated for 29 to 30th of this month, inviting about 1,600 people to this Russian Black Sea resort for the Congress of National Dialogue aimed at resolving the years-long crisis in the Arab country. Last December, Russia, Iran and Turkey agreed to convene the Congress in Sochi. At that time, the Syrian government was quick to agree to attend the Congress, which is expected to tackle issues such as the constitution and elections in Syria. Russia also invited the Kurds to participate in the peace talks to ensure that Syrian delegates are more representative. However, Syria's main Kurdish groups announced they would boycott the peace talks as Turkey's recent offensive in Syria's Afrin against them worsened tensions. Turkey has long opposed inviting the Democratic Union Party (PYD) or its armed group, the People's Protection Units (YPG), and the umbrella Syrian Democratic Forces (SDF) to any peace efforts, and has prevented their presence in the Geneva and Astana peace processes, as it believes the Kurdish groups are related to Turkey's banned Kurdistan Workers' Party (PKK). Syrian political analyst Humadi Al-Abdullah believes that Syria's Kurds can join the meeting in the name of an individual group, not the PYD. He believes after the Afrin operation, Turkey would not oppose Kurdish groups participating in the meeting as an individual group. For another Syrian political analyst, Sarkis Kasagian, the Sochi talks, like previous talks in Astana, cannot make breakthrough or immediate progress in a short term, but for a long perspective, it will have a positive impact on the solutions to the Syrian issue.
It's difficult, but it's not impossible. You know, in first Astana's conference was like that too. Nobody was believing that Astana will come out with announced agreements and not announced agreements too. I'm sure that there are so many agreements that they are not declaring, they are not announcing about, but we are feeling them on the ground, or we are feeling them on the political relation between the sides of the Syrian conflict.
The peace talks in Astana in January 2017 ended with an agreement to create a mechanism to ensure compliance with the existing ceasefire and to continue talks towards a more permanent solution February 8 in Geneva. The talks in Sochi are expected to bring an opportunity for political dialogues as Syria's Kurds and more Syrian oppositions can make their voices heard via this third platform after the Geneva talks and Astana talks.
England all-rounder Ben Stokes remains a cricket hot property despite his off-field troubles after being sold for the top prize of $1.97 million in auction for this year's Indian Premier League IPL 2020 tournament.
Ben Stokes has now become the most expensive foreign player for the second year in a row. Sandeep Lamichhane became the first player from Nepal to land an Indian Premier League IPL deal when the 17-year-old was picked by Delhi Daredevils for $31,460. Seam bowler Jaydev Unadkat emerged as the most expensive Indian buy from the two-day auction when the 26-year-old was sold to Rajasthan Royals for $1.8 million.
169 players sold, 113 Indian, 42 capped, 71 uncapped, 56 overseas, 9 nations, the players of 9 nations have been taken. 1 player from Nepal, as I told you in the afternoon also, and this Afghanistan boy who is 16-year-old. 4 players have been picked up from Afghanistan. 19 to 20 RTM auction. Highest is 12.5 and Stokes, and 11.5 Jaydev Unadkat.
2020 freelance Chris Gayle went unsold in 2 rounds, but the swashbuckling left-hander was snapped in a 3rd round by Kings 9 Punjab at his base price of $314,600. Kings co-owner Bollywood actress Preeti Zinta announced there was going to be a Gale storm in Punjab as a result of the signing.
We didn't want to be in a situation where someone else bid for him and then we didn't have money left for a spinner. So we waited to go get our spinner. Once we got our spinner on board, our Indian local spinner, that's when we realized that this time there's going to be a Gale storm in Punjab.
The 11th season of IPL begins in April.
Maze Runner The Death Cure tops the North American weekend box office from January 26th to 28th.
If we find a cure, that's the only
According to box office website Box Office Mojo, Maze Runner The Death Cure managed to secure $23.5 million from January 26th to 28th. Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle was placed at number 2 with $16.7 million.
We gotta go! Get on my back! Hell no! I'll carry you!
Makes you feel inhuman after a while.
Hostiles, starring Kristen Bale and Rosamund Pike, was placed third at $10.2 million.
Because that's my job.
The Greatest Showman earned $9.5 million and came in at fourth place.
The most highly classified documents of the war.
The Times says 7,000 pages.
And rounding out the top five, The Post, starring Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks, earned $8.9 million.
These have to be over. You're talking about exposing years of government secrets.
Is that legal?
What is it you think we do here for a living, kid?
Ben, I might have something.
It must be precious cargo.
It's just government secrets.
Billionaire IKEA founder Ingvar Kamprad, who turned a business he launched as a teenager into one of the world's best-known furniture brands, dies at the age of 91.
Born on March 30th, 1926 in southern Sweden, Ingvar Kamprad started off selling matches to neighbors at the age of 5 and soon diversified his inventory to include seeds, tree decorations, pencils and ballpoint pens. Kamprad started IKEA in 1943 when he was just 17, but his big break came in 1956 when the company pioneered flat-pack furniture. The business now has around 400 stores and roughly 1 billion people visited them last year. But despite his wealth, Kamprad prided himself on being frugal, driving an old car and encouraging staff to write on both sides of a sheet of paper to avoid waste. He was also a controversial figure and was forced to apologize for his time as a member of the New Swedish Movement, which was a nationalist far-right group that supported fascist parties around Europe in the 1940s. His decision to live abroad, mainly in Switzerland, to avoid Sweden's high income taxes was also widely criticized. In recent years, Kamprad, who moved back to Sweden a few years ago, had stepped away from the day-to-day running of the empire he created, though he remained an advisor. His sons Peter, Jonas and Matthias still sit on the boards of various IKEA entities, but the family is no longer at the helm. The retailer is now heading for $62 billion in annual revenues.
And that's all we have for you right now. Thank you for watching. Have a very pleasant day.